Well, howdy there, folks. James, politicalfriar.com, coming to you again. I got the LSE hat on, and so we're going to talk about an international relations topic today. It's the pause between Gaza and Israel that is upcoming. The deal is the two sides will agree to stop fighting for 4 days. And exchange some hostages or prisoners in the case of the Israelis. So, all of the hostages that Hamas is going to send back to Israel are going to be women and children who were taken during their October 7th incursion. And the Israelis are agreeing to release 150 women and minors, not very many young children, from Israeli prisons where these folks had been convicted of crimes. And so they're going to get those 150 back to Gaza. Where they'll go in Gaza after they get there is a bit of a question, but that's something that Hamas will have to work out. After the hostage and prisoner exchange, the 4 days of no fighting will commence, giving an opportunity for aid to reach Gaza, which is good, I suppose, to the extent that it isn't just immediately stolen by Hamas, which a good portion of it will be. But some of it will end up in the mouths and hands of Gazan civilians, and so that's good, I suppose. And Hamas will be able to use the 4 days to refortify and reorganize. See, they still have communication links underground between southern and northern Gaza, and so they can refortify their positions in the area of fighting in north, and also just stock themselves back up. So the Hamas upside for them is they get a break, they get a breather, and they get to reorganize. And the upside for Israel is they get 50 hostages back. Now, that still leaves somewhere between 150 and 200 hostages in Gaza, but there is an additional problem that this pause might actually help with as far as hostages go. Hamas doesn't have all of the hostages. They aren't the only militant group in Gaza who participated in the October 7th attack, and Hamas can't really order Islamic Jihad to give them their hostages or return them to Israel. And so Hamas might use these 4 days to also get those hostages out of the hands of other militant groups so that it has the cards to play in future hostage negotiations for pauses. To help Hamas with this, Israel actually put an incentive in the deal. It says for every additional 10 hostages that Hamas can gather up and release, they'll get another 24 hours of paused in the fighting. And so what I see happening here is you're going to have the initial exchange, 150 for 50, and you're going to have Hamas using hostages as currency for time. It's going to just be hostages directly being traded for time until Hamas feels that it's as ready as it's going to get, or it runs out of hostages. What happens after that is more war. Now, the final thing that'll happen during this pause is there will be some jaw to steal from Winston Churchill. His quote is, "It's always better to jaw than war." Well, there will be an opportunity. The parties are in Qatar. They're talking to each other, and if there is some kind of arrangement to be made between Israel and Hamas, then this is a time that it might happen. I don't think it will. The horror of October 7th is still fresh in the minds of the Israeli public, and they are not going to tolerate a ceasefire that leaves Hamas as their neighbor. It's not going to be politically feasible for Israel to pull that off just for domestic purposes. It doesn't even matter how much international pressure is put on Israel. The Israeli public won't tolerate it. And I think Netanyahu and everybody else in the coalition government understands that. And so after these hostages are returned and after the pause, expect the fighting to start again. Expect Israel to, over the course of what will probably be months, conquer Gaza. And we've already done a video about what we think might come next, but this is an opportunity just to update you about where the state of the fighting is and where we think it's going to go, which is It's going to keep going. The big victims are the Gazan civilians. They're victims of Hamas first. Don't forget that they would have been left in peace had Hamas not organized an attack on Israeli civilians. Anyway, tell me what you think about that in the comments down below. And leave me a like. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thanks.